Hey everyone. First things first. No, this is not satire. It's not from The Onion. It's actually from a publication called The Walrus, a Canadian media outlet. But the headline will make you think, nah, this has got to be satire. This is a complete joke, right? Was this April Fool's? No, we're long past April, right? Headline: Does Canadian media have right-wing bias? Right-wing bias. Canadian media, right? Holy shit. And I mean, if you pay attention to the media in Canada, you know it's like, wait a minute. Oh, they just got the word wrong. It's left, you mean. Left, 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 left. Because, I mean, come on, just pay attention, especially CBC and Globe and Mail and Global and all these. Right wing? No, nothing of the sort. I mean, you might have a little bit of it, like when you're talking about like the National Financial Post, but even then you'll see, because it's contributors, individual contributors. So there seems to be a fair amount of balance in like the National and Financial Post, but it's economics is part and parcel of that too, right? So it's like, now, especially the CBC, the largest, I mean, it's the public broadcaster, which, you know, it lives solely based on the forced wealth redistribution model, right? Stealing from people to pay for it, collectivism, central planning, right? That's left wing, man. You don't get any more left wing than socialism, right? Which is the very fundamental model, the very fundamental business model of the CBC. And then all these media outlets that are looking for even more socialism. Look at my past videos, how they're now all wanting the government to bail them out and support them and give them their paychecks, right? But yeah, that's right wing. Not on any traditional aspect of what the right wing really entails and what it's supposed to mean. I don't know how you could put forth and present this kind of narrative, but hey, this is by Nora Loretto and Michael Stewart. Big ol' fail already just on the headline. Clickbait maybe, but let's see what they got to say. On the sub portion of this headline: while the far right appears on daily news, the far left is yet to break through the mainstream. Right. Hey, I guess what they're saying is they're kind of trying to stay a little bit less than full-on socialist, which I will say that with the media, they will promote that universal basic income and stuff, but no, even our leftist media aren't foolish enough to go full-on socialist, right? Even though they would probably like it, but if it's the PR would be terrible. This is Canada, after all, the strong and the free, the great white north. There's a fair amount of people in northern countries, not just Canada, that yeah, they know all about worrying about the here and now, or not just worrying about the here and now, but worrying about and saving for later too, right? That's cold climate. You kind of have to learn to do that stuff. I mean, anyways, let's get down into the article. See what they got to say here. This should be interesting. At the very least, it will be interesting, right? When CBC journalist Hannah Thibodeau tweeted last week that Gavin McInnes would be her guest on Power and Politics. So because they're going to bring Gavin McInnes on, right? Well. Anyways, the CBC's daily news show, it was clear to everyone but the show's host and producers what would happen next. McInnes, a rebel media personality who achieved notoriety earlier this year for an anti-Semitic video rant he posted entitled 10 Things I Hate About Jews. I mean, just Gavin McInnes is a comedian, and he is one of those people that he'll do things that are outrageous to get attention. But when you do, and you listen to him, if you pay attention to what he says, you're like, anti-Semite, he works for the Rebel. And guess who's the CEO and owner of the Rebel? Ezra Levant. Oh, what's Ezra Levant again? Oh, Jewish. But yeah, Gavin McInnes is anti-Semite. But he's employed by a Jew. like I say, whoa, this should be satire. Unfortunately, it's not. Was brought on to lend context to a group he founded called the Proud Boys. 5 of them had disrupted ceremony in Halifax on Canada Day, right? So, I mean, just go look through the history of that, right? The Proud Boys, and you'll see the Halifax. You'll see how that all played out. You'll be like, what the hell are you fucking idiots talking about? If you're not just trying to create some sensationalized, tabloid-style, divisive politics media, I don't know what else you're doing. And that's what the Walrus is doing. What? Not generating enough revenue? You need that clickbait, right? Wait, what do you want? To go the tabloid way? Come on, man. Step up the game. Don't race down to that bottom. Jesus Christ. As a small gathering, Gikstan Elder Chief Grizzly Mama shaved her head in symbolic protest at the base of a controversial statue of Edward Cornwallis, the founder of Halifax, who offered a bounty for the scalps of Mi'kmaq warriors. The Proud Boys confronted those attending, declaring this is a British colony, and other expressions of what they called Western chauvinism, a belief system that opposes the advances in civil, indigenous, and women's rights over the past 50 years. These guys are like, come on, man. They're just trying to... If you don't notice this by now, and I'm not an alt-right or any of these guys, and I don't even know if Gavin McInnes self-identifies as that per se, but I mean, listen, they're shock jocking you, and you keep falling into their trap, right? They're hanging out that bait, and you're just biting at it. It's like they're schooling you. They're showing you just how ridiculous and thin-skinned you people are, and how unobjective you truly are, and how ideologically driven you are. Even though you're putting forth presenting that they are, the reality is, I mean, it's all right there for everyone to see. So you might appeal to the people that you say, oh, look, you agree with me. But you're forgetting about the fact that there's a whole other portion of the population, right? Stop functioning in these stupid echo chambers. Damn. Thibodeau was unready for McGuinness's bravado. Can you see why Cornwallis issued a bounty on Mi'kmaq, he asked? The shell-shocked host. Triggered. McGuinness first tried to justify the bounty as self-defense, then lied that no one collected on it anyway. He also repeatedly mispronounced Mi'kmaq, a mundane but biting way to express disdain for Mi'kmaq people. Everything went uncorrected. The next day, Thibodeau apologized. She admitted that the interview should have mentioned that McGuinness had expressed anti-Jewish sentiments, and conceded that the show probably should have at least featured someone who is indigenous. Oh, yeah, because, you know, all these these right-wing like CBC, because you'll always see, like, when they have their little panels, you'll always hear, like, libertarians talking on there, and people that are actually freedom lovers, right? Or even really these alt-right or right-wingers that you talk about. You'll hear all that, yeah, like they always love putting them in there so that you have a real true mixture of opinions, right? You know, that's not the case. You won't hear regular people like Gavin McInnes. I mean, even when CBC's putting them on there, they're only doing it in the hopes that they can make the guy look bad, right? That's the only reason why these do these things, not to give them a voice. They're hoping that they can trap him some way and paint him in a corner. That's what they're doing. That's what they do. That's their go-to motif. McInnes' appearance shows just how easy it is for right-wing extremists to get on Canada's public broadcaster. Because you see, it's so rampant, right? Look at it. It's just a never-ending, non-stop string of these all right-wingers or alt-righters or, you know, these, racist and bigoted white folks, you know, male patriarchy. Yeah, they're just constantly, they dominate the CBC right now. Christ. Oh, damn. Hilarious. Hey, it's entertaining. Surely it's not informative, but at the very least, it can be entertaining. Well, if you can take it with a grain of salt and don't take their shit seriously, right? Outlandish, counterfactual statements provide the balance of a conservative voice, in spite of, or perhaps because of, claims that the mainstream media is a bastion of liberal ideas. The range of political views involved in mainstream discourse often skews to the far right rather than the left. Like, they're not even trying to suggest a little bit right. They're saying far right. Oh. I mean, how far left you got to be to consider the CBC in these places to be far right? I mean, that's see how far the goalposts, see how far they've moved it. Like, that's how crazy things have become. Where the CBC, you got someone trying to put forth a narrative that the CBC is far right. Right? You don't know the difference between right and left anymore. That's your problem. There's where your problem lies and is entrenched in your psychology. You might want to, hey, seek out some counseling, right? From one of your status psychologists or something. Well, maybe not, because I'll still keep you stuck in those conundrums, in that mental state. But I digress. Take former Conservative leadership candidate Kelly Leitch, who proposed screening immigrants for Canadian values in order to make waves in a leadership contest she had no hope of winning. Journalists obsessed over Leitch's campaign and her policies. She finished the Conservative race with less than 8% of the vote. You see, once again, Globe Mail, CBC, all these leftist media rigs, they were just doing it to get clicks, to get views, right? That's what they do. But it's not like they were supporting Leach. It was all about insulting the woman on a daily basis, which even myself, hey, I'm kind of a little bit in line with you to a certain degree, but it's like, come on. As if the media were bringing them on to promote them. No, they were bringing them on in the hopes of, in the hopes of basically lambasting them and metaphorically hanging them at the altar of the leftist collective ideology, right? As sacrifices. Contrast Kelly Leach's coverage to that of Nikki Ashton, who stands a good chance of becoming the next NDP leader. Oh, here we go. It's starting to come around there. It's all about we want full socialism, man. And we're going to paint everyone that's not a socialist as far-right wingers, right? That's really what this author of this media that's really getting to. She got more press when she announced her pregnancy than when she proposed income tax increases on corporations and the wealthiest 5%. So I'll read a little bit more, but this is kind of annoying as fuck. I mean, it's stupid as shit, but I mean, I'm trying to give you some proper perspective, and you not have to deal with going and reading this article yourself, although I suggest you should, right? Just so you can make sure that, hey, Ben's not bullshitting me, right? This is the kind of information and narrative that these fuckers are trying to present. Besides politicians, far-right pundits are routinely welcomed by Canadian media. Late last year, the CBC broadcast a much-hyped 10-minute sit-down interview with Ann Coulter. Ooh! A whole 10 minutes with Ann Coulter! Meanwhile, the CBC is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. But a whole 10 minutes to Ann Coulter. Well, there you go. Fuck, they gotta be all fucking bunch of far-righters, right? Because they gave Ann Coulter 10 minutes to speak. As if they didn't try to use that to lambaste her as well. God. On, who has argued that America should invade Muslim majority countries and convert them to Christianity. University of Toronto professor Jordan Peterson, who is best known for refusing to use gender neutral pronouns despite the wishes of his students and colleagues, has consistently made the news. All of his students and colleagues, right? Really? I mean, we know university culture and campuses are as far left as you can get nowadays, but yeah, are they all? Are they all in unison against him? Why is Jordan Peterson so goddamn popular then? Right? And as if Jordan Peterson, he's what, this super right winger, right? A professor at the University of Toronto. Oh yeah, he's a pure far right. Damn. Most recently, with regard to the crowdfunding account that props up his six-figure salary, conservative columnist Barbara Kay. Oh, they're going to go after Barbara now. Poor girl. Like, Barbara is one of the most reasonable voices out there. And I guess you could kind of consider center right? But come on, like far right. Oh, Jesus, the way this fucking media outlet's going on against these people, it's disgusting. I hope you people are willing to stand up and fight back against this stuff. And I know you are. You got the courage and the conviction to do so. And good for you. Had a seat on CBC's panel show, Because News, until she was eventually let go after saying things on Twitter like TRC did not allow witnessing from anyone with positive #residential schools experience. She retains her column at the National Post. Just this past week, CP24 in Toronto gave an anonymous Holocaust denier 5 minutes of airtime to justify his views before they stopped the interview. So once again, you have to allow, like what these fucking idiots at Wallace are saying, no, you can the only allowable opinions that should be on the political and media stage is that align with us. And if you don't align with us in our ideology, in our edicts, then you are far right. That's like I say, that's that divisive, that's identity politics playing out right before our eyes. I'm going to go back up. Once again, an offer, because I need you to people to understand who these people are. Because I know there's people that live, these people, you live in some communities, right? You might have people on your side, but I want people to know who these contributors are. So you know who is actually really the ones that are seeking out to divide and conquer, right? The ones that are using divisive identity politics to create so much harm, pain, and hardships for so many people in Canada. And these two people is Nora Loreto and Michael Stewart. Michael Stewart and Nora Loreto, you know, you continue to put forth and present your kind of false bullshit narrative, but just know and realize that there are people like me and many others that are going to not only oppose it, but offer a much more intellectually based, much more objective based dialogue and narrative that will counteract and overrule, ultimately, the kind of bullshit propaganda that you're trying to put forth and present to the Canadian people. This is the Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.